So, perfect, guys. Thank you very much for having me here. I thought it was really cool. Tack. Fantastic. It was really cool being out there, checking out you guys. Unfortunately, we were only 3 boats, 4 boats on the race course. It would have been a lot more fun if we could have gathered some of the Royal Danish Yacht Clubs or some of the other boats from here. If we could have 10 boats, that would have made a lot of difference. To begin with, really awesome that we're doing this. We can start out by the little things that are easy to fix. Some of the things that and the approach that I have. My approach to sailing is if you can repeat, you can improve. So that's sort of the overall thing that we're working with. So if you can do the same thing again, then you can change. And the only way to do things again is to know where we're at now. And to know where we're at now, we need to have some points on the boat, some measurement, tape marking, stuff like that. And I think it's very essential before we head out that we make sure that we know, okay, this is the boat, these are the markings, this is where we can put tape on. And it's down to, is the spinnaker halyard all the way up? Yes, it is, because I have the marking there. Is the bowsprit all the way forward? Yes, it is, because there's a mark there. Tack line, all these little things, and then we go to the sheets. Then we're with the outhole, with everything else. It's really nice knowing exactly where you're at everything. Because I also saw some of the boats, especially from tack to tack, having fairly different jib trim. And I'm not sure about, it seemed like your rig was a little bit loose, the rig, in comparison to yours. And also knowing things like that is quite essential. And the J80 and the J70, pretty much all the boats that we're racing in, the rig tune, the jib trim, the whole setup is important. The rake, like how far the mast is bent backwards, let's say that's the head stay length, which is really annoying to change on the J80, but it's also very important to know where we're at.
And that comes with the sail as well, right?
That comes with the sail as well. What kind of design the sail is, what kind of setup.
In the World Cup, we were discussing it a lot because the Spanish boats, for all the boats, were sailing gold sails,
yeah,
or golden sails, both on the jib and the main.
Yeah.
And our conclusion, at least, was that they were able to make a better mast trim to the sails.
Yeah.
They had a longer forestay. That's basically it, but they were not that much faster.
Yeah.
So more rate.
Yeah. And I think that's like if you do J70s now, we're looking at 142 centimeters to 156. Like that, there's quite a big range for a 7-meter boat, depending on sails, weight, what kind of conditions are we in. The top boats now they go down. Okay, this is a setup today, and then they change the rake and they change everything else as well. So there's a lot of things going on there, and there's a lot of things we can alter there.
Also shifting the mast position.
Not the mast position, but only the head stay length. So where the mast is, the forestay. It's quite exactly. You just go forward and you unzip the jib, and then you can actually just do it there. Might want to put but the problem with the 80, it's a little bit more difficult. But then we need to get everything else sorted out. And I think you could have had a much better setup with maybe 2 turns on the verticals on the outer top vent. That could have helped you out a lot, because as you saw, the mast was sort of just opening up. I could see that from the rib in the back, like, okay, we need something more.
We cannot see it when we sail.
Yeah, well, then you got to go and check it out. But the most important thing for you guys is to know where you're at. Jeg har altid en skydelærer, a caliber, with me, and I also so whenever I trimmed in a boat, I use my caliber to measure the distance on the turnbuckles, and then I put a big marker inside the boat and I draw it, like really big. This is the setup in this condition or in that condition, and I write down the different setups inside the boat, just so I know we're going out. Oh, I don't think, is it correct, is it not? And then I just measure with the caliber.
Do you rely on the trim guides then, or do you rely on?
I start with the trim guides, and then all the masts are different. Like if you do like the J70, it's a carbon fiber mast, but everything changes, and the tuning guide is such a loose setup that it's very difficult with your loose gauge to measure it. I think the tuning guide is 9 on the number, but that means like it's floppy. So on the J70 I turn it on 3 turns more than what the base setup is, and then I measure. Then I have a baseline. Then I go out and then I look up the mast. And in conditions like today, I wouldn't go and say, okay, now I figured out my baseline. But in flat water, 12 knots, I want to really just straight mast and not have the lowers too much one way or the other. And then I write that down. I think that helps quite a lot, just knowing that. Because for me, it's also just, I know my boat is good. I know it's all set up. And then we can go out and compete and do all the other stuff. And then we know, okay, the jib turn is this, the jib turn is that. The jib today, in general, I thought I would have wanted like more pulling power to go through the waves. I have quite a lot where I've been driving right behind you guys and filming, and from that I think you can see the very narrow spot there is between the mainsail and the jib. And as a driver in conditions like this, where you can't just sail straight, you're going up and down the waves, you need a more forgiving trim. And so I'd like to have that where the bottom of the jib is really moved all the way in, and then the top opened up.
So the car afterwards?
So the car would probably need to be quite far back in order to bring it in. So your problem is that you're actually running out of your jib is quite far down. I believe your mast is quite far backwards. The rake is pretty big on your boat for that sail. I don't know the whole setup, but I think so your problem is, if I want to move it in the jib, then I will pretty much not be able to, because then you have the rooftop, and the pulling is not far enough down, so you end up opening up too much.
And if we use the counter trim, then the windward sheet, the lacy sheet, will be cutting in the gasket for the mast.
Yeah.
So I'm a little hesitant on that.
Yeah, but it does work. So that's a problem.
We've seen that on the J70, so yes.
Yeah, but and that's a give, like sort of, okay, what should we actually do here? Are we going to sail the way the boat sails the best, or are we going to do something else? I was hoping with the J70 that they would put like a little metal bar you could put in front of the mast, where you could actually lean on there. Some of the other boat types have that. I think it would have been perfect for J70, for J80 to do that.
Use the lacy sheet to.
Yeah, because then you have the lacy sheet on there instead of having on the
on the sleeve.
On the sleeve there.
Our sleeve went up, so now it's on the glass fiber.
Yeah.
So it's quite smooth. So maybe you should put the sleeve up. Then you'll get some water in.
Yeah, and that's the thing. On a boat that sailed regularly, you could remove the sleeve, because then you know you're emptying it out. But otherwise, a club boat, not necessarily a good idea. But the problem is you're going to need the inhauler, the opposite sheet, to bring it in. And we need to figure out how to do that, because you need it. So for your boat, I would actually, if we're not changing the rake, not measuring that out, I would just lift the jib up 1 centimeter more in the front. So have a different shackle in the front.
We just changed
Lowered
on
it.
both our boats, so we have twisted shackles in order to get them closer.
Yeah. But the problem is now you're you're all the way close in the back. Like, so I like the deck sweeper, like it's really close to the deck, and then you get compression there. but the problem is you're running low in the back to bring it in. You need that little bit lifted to bring it in. But then again, on a J80, when you're changing 1 centimeter in the headstay, that's 4.5 centimeter in the back. You need to change on the jib card. Like there's so much in math wise. That change just changes your traveler, the jib card, so much. So when I talk to people about the J70, I'm like, guys, I just need 2 more laps on your headstay, like maybe 2 more. That's like 2.5 millimeter. And they go, no, we measured it out. Yeah, but I'm talking like, did you measure that accurate on your headstay? We need just a little bit, and then you can all of a sudden see, oh, my jib changes 2.5 millimeters. That's 2 centimeters. Or like there's so much happening everywhere else. The same with your jib sheets now. If you are, when I say, oh, we need to ease a little bit, it is a centimeter. It's not 2, because 2 centimeters, that's like 8 centimeters opening up on the top. And that's also why we do need those markings on the deck of where are we. What?
You have it on the bowsprit, but it's come off the tack line, and the tack line we're using this principle of sneaking the jib out.
Yeah,
the jig out.
Yeah.
And when doing that, it's so much easier when we have the marks.
Yeah.
Because then we know exactly that when we've sneaked it out to this point, then when we're setting it, pulling the bowsprit, then it's
done. Exactly. Yeah. I think, but I think in everything we pull, it should be the same way. That okay, we're pulling the halyard to there, we're pulling the sheets to there, even the main sheet. Like when you're rounding the bottom mark, there's so many things going on. If you also when you're rounding, if you also have to look up while you're rounding, you end up over trimming, driving past the mark, or you end up under trimming and just going sideways. So you know, okay, we're rounding the bottom mark. We want the mainsail to be 70%. So if you have tape markings on there, and you pull, you say, okay, this is the last one coming down. Okay, I'm good. We can sail. Then we know what's going on. But that's a lot of little things. But all those little things are going to change a lot in the way that you're sailing the boat. I think that's important to get that sorted out. But it starts in here. Get those tape markings. One other thing, that wasn't you guys, but that was 1134. Whenever they jibed, they eased the old spinnaker sheet quite a lot. That meant the old spinnaker sheet, or the corner of the spinnaker, went in front of the spinnaker, and then they're pulling it back again. That meant there's a wrap in there. So I always, before I head out, I actually go on and take the corner of the kite, the spinnaker, and I walk up to the headstay, and then I have somebody else pull it in the back. And then I have the other side pulled, so I know this is the corner of my spinnaker, and it's at the headstay. And then I put tape markings there, and I put 3 markings on each sheet. So if I'm trimming, I'm releasing to a feel, because you can feel 3 tape markings on your line when it's running through your hands. And that's my maximum ease. I will never ease more than that before I have full tension on the other. So I don't even need to look at the kite. So whenever we're jibing, I'm like, okay, just easing, and there I feel it, and I'm just pulling here. Don't have to look at it. I just know.
So do you cleat it?
No, so that's just so I need to have either sheet tight. So if this one is to that point, then I need to be pulling here. It needs to be pulled tight. Because when I start pulling more, it has to run further out. But I just need to know this is my release point. If I release a meter later than that,
then you're depowering it.
But then it also does that wrap.
Yeah.
So that's all of, this is it, and then I'm pulling here. And just knowing those little things, so it's always the same. That also means that when I'm jibing, I'm not looking at the kite. So if I'm trimming, I'm like, okay, we're jibing the cord from the back, and then I can just feel there's still pressure in it. There's still pressure in it, and I start tightening up the other one, and I feel okay, and then I can turn around and I could go straight to the other block and not look at anything. And I know I will be able to see it at this point, and then I just pull it to there.
Do you get help on the J80?
No.
So you do it solely?
Solely. And I think that, but I do think when you're two doing it, it ends up being worse, because you end up with, so I'm pulling a little and you're doing that, and then you end up with your trimmer for some reason always standing and looking at the kite. And you see how much you can pull here, and if you have a life jacket on, okay, that was like 30 centimeters per pull, and then maybe you get 60 here. But if you forget about looking at it and you go straight at it and you work like this, you should be able to get it.
And that's probably also those situations where you're more engaged, then people are stepping onto the sheet.
Yeah.
And then we are screwing things up.
But
Yeah.
we normally have one to pull
Yeah.
out with the
Purchase all the stuff. Yeah. But we don't. It's one person.
be the same person
Yeah.
pulling.
It depends on how strong you are, but try next time. Just turn around and go straight to the block, and just look at it while you're pulling, and don't do anything else. Like really see how well you can do that.
So if one person maneuvers both the old sheet and the new sheet.
Yeah. But then the thing is, you release one person to either move weight around, but also to check out, is there an issue?
Yeah, if one
Then they can fix stuff. Okay, they're like, oh, I'll fix it if because I can look at it. Otherwise, I'm using my weight, and the weight, not in these conditions, then you just need weight on the side. But in all other conditions, moving the ballast around the boat is really key to roll the boat. Every single maneuver. That's also why we removed the whip on the top of the mast on pretty much all boats. The flicker, yeah, because we're just doing full-on rolls, and then make sure that the sails are popping out. Yeah.
Anders, vil han komme herop?
Ja, der på der.
Hej, Anders.
Ja, og det er derfor, der også er her, så han kan høre, hvad jeg siger i hvert fald. Okay.
So but when you're sheeting out up until the clue is in line with the forestay, before taking it across.
No, so I'm
then
tightening
you
at the same time.
solve the majority of issues that we have with entangled sheets in the cockpit.
Exactly, because then we're looking at, you might need to ease it 1.5 meters more, and then it all works pretty well. To do that, to do the correct jibe on a boat like this, it's actually really, really slow for the driver. You don't need that, throw it around, just really slow. And the preferred one is where I get the kite over and it's full, and then the main comes, before the main comes over, the late main jibe. Right. It does a lot. I saw both of you guys did a few of them where it looked okay. 1134 were more like throwing it across. But
in these conditions, immediately when the main is jibing, then I'm countersteering. And that's I think you tried it a few weeks back, that you were caught on the beam after jibing, because you need to be very fast at steering downwind after you jibe the main.
Yeah. It's quite responsive. You have to be quite responsive there.
Then you lose.
So I have a few. I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to send you guys a PDF on how I'd like to start, but we're not going too much into the starts right now. I'm thinking more of the rounding of marks, and I'm going to start out with the top mark. So if we say the wind is coming from me, down there, we have the top mark here. Quite often when you race, you also have an offset mark. We didn't have that today. What I want, and you're gonna probably hear some comments on the video that I did. When you're hoisting, you're going around the top mark, and you're hoisting. Quite often, I saw you guys continuing this direction, sailing at, I can't remember, hvad hedder akten for tværs? Beam reach.
45 degrees.
About the 45 degrees from total dead downwind, and fighting to get the kite up, and spending a lot of time fixing it and trying to do stuff, and it just takes forever. And then you saw a boat behind you, just going a little bit deeper, going like this, past you, get the kite up, and then what I say, just pop it, like where you sort of line up. Every single maneuver or every single hoist has to be like that. We have to be able to do it. It is such a strong move, especially when you get to 10 boats, 15 boats at a race, to be the one that can go dead downwind, and you're not losing anything at that point.
Hoisting and dead downwind.
Dead, I spoke with 1134 out there and sort of go dead downwind, and then he was like, yeah, but not quite. He was still 15 degrees off, and like, but you were not even close to dead downwind. He felt he was really there. You have to, it's really deep. It also means that you take a lot of pressure out of the sail, a lot of pressure out of things. If you're hoisting at this angle and your spinnaker is wrapped, then the spinnaker is just going to be full on top of the wrap and below the wrap.
We had one hoist like that.
Yeah. If you're
Increase the risk of getting it caught in the shrouds if you're going dead downwind?
I wouldn't say, but you still have to be aware of the luff of the kite, because that's the thing you need to get away from there. Yeah, and so your concern here is that you're going dead downwind and you ease the main all the way, and then your halyard is stuck behind the shrouds.
Yeah, between the shroud and the
Yeah. So I also always tape. I use, unfortunately, and they don't have the biodegradable tape anymore, because I used to buy that from Germany, but it doesn't exist anymore, and not as good at least. But I used to tape it in front of the shroud, so I had the halyard coming out of the cabin, and then have the halyard in front, so it's not dangling behind the shrouds. That means I'm already clear of the main, and I can sort of scoop the kite out from there. In match racing, we hoist between the shrouds, but that's a different setup. Yeah, but it's very narrow.
That doesn't really work on the J80. On the
Yeah.
J70, you always
Yeah.
do it.
Well, in match racing J80 we do it,
Okay.
but then
Then you know, you need to put a...
but we sort of we just grab it there. But we also we're four professionals on the boat. When the guy when guy pulls, it's like it's up,
1, 2, 3.
right?
Yeah, okay.
It's
It took a little longer.
we look at often we looked at videos, and if the kite's not up before we left the mark, then it's not good enough.
Okay.
And that's actually a guideline that we use. So it's a different setup. Here we're hoisting it behind. It's good, but then we have to be aware of the shroud, the luff. I think I was just looking at your spreader bar ends. I would actually climb up and tape them better. At your end, it looks like there's a little chafing on the backside of them, where things can get caught.
Yeah. Yeah, there are these plastic ends, but there's like...
And remember, the plastic ends are they're not lasting forever.
No, and there's in the back of the plastic end there's a gap or something.
Exactly, and that's the thing. I have on bigger boats actually had a little almost like a sail tie that I put on, and then tape, just to make sure I can run through there. It's also in the jibes. If you in the lighter conditions, if the spinnaker collapses, then you have the leech getting caught on that little area, and then you're like halfway through the jibe, you're like, oh, it's stuck, and then you have a shitty jibe. Right. When we go downwind, so now we have the kite up, and we're sailing, and hopefully there's nobody that's on inside that just locked us, so we go all the way out. And we also need to make sure, are we in a surfing mode, or are we going dead downwind? I think even in conditions like today, I would have liked to work deeper. You're sort of in between of, oh, we're surfing a little bit, and then we're not. And if we're surfing a little bit, I would have rolled out the jib as well and said, okay, now we're surfing. And then I would have put it 3-4 degrees further up, jib out, and send it. Like then we're doing 13, 14 knots instead. Or so there's sort of those options. Positioning wise, on a short race course like this, it's quite nice to be deep, simply just because then you're in a better position compared to the other boats. On a longer race course in these conditions, you'll probably put it up and surf.
To use the waves and
Yeah, and just keep it loaded up. Then it makes it a little bit more difficult because your ley line is going to be a little bit further out, and then finding that ley line on the way in. Right now we're struggling on ley lines as well, so we need to figure those out. We're sailing too far on both the downwind and the upwind, and I would probably, let's say for next time, bring one of my own marks or something like that, and then put a secondary mark on the upwind to force you guys. So the rule would just be, you have to have this mark on the right side. Just figure out how you do it, but you have to have this on the right side. Then you can be out here, or you can be here, but that just means that we would get that extra tack in, and we would try to figure out our ley lines and the whole area up here. The problem is when you go out here and then you sail 4 to 6 lengths too far, and then you tack, and then we're not really getting those situations that we want to. I think we need to get that brought you guys together again, especially if you're not 10, 15 boats. Yeah, and then we can get the 18.3, the rule at the top mark, because that's always interesting. And if you guys are worried or want to learn more about what to do here, then I also have some exercises for that. So you just let me know if, okay, we think this could be cool. It's actually just me going out, putting 2 marks out, and then we use 15 minutes before they start. And then we'll just do a little bit of that. Just so we're sort of, okay, what happens when I come in? What do I do? And then we'll do some, what the thing is, with that setup, you can repeat it. We can sort of just continue. Every 3 minutes, we've got a top mark rounding again, and then we're just opposite. But it just means we have some marks with sort of rounding, and then, we meet again, and then we meet again. I think some of those things will also help out. But to begin with, it's the tape markings, it's a setup, it's okay, where are we at? How do we do? And then we can figure out and repeat from there.
This extra top mark, would that be downwind?
It would just be downwind. It would be like 70 to 100 meters down.
Yeah, and then you want to force us to.
So you'll just be forced.
Flow situation.
Yes, that also forces you to do an early attack. So you will have more attacks. You wouldn't just go all the way out here, and we'll bring everything in here, and then it's sort of a, okay, well, should I then tack here, or where should I go? One of the things we have to be aware of is a boat like this, pretty much 10 to 15 lengths behind it, there's shadow, there's worse wind. It's pretty much straight back and then 20 degrees down. It's like, don't be in this area. So if we are there, we need to get out. Even if, I'll say there has to be a really good reason to continue. There's better wind, there's something else. We cannot tack because of another boat. But we have to get out of that area. It's a dangerous area to be in. So we need to get that sorted out. That also means if you go all the way out here and you're waiting for the other boat to tack, you know you're going to get overlaid. The longer you continue out here as the let's say the green boat, the less you're going to less bad air you're going to put on the other one. So if you are this boat, you want to tack on ley line early or just on ley line. Remember, when you go out here and you're tacking, then we're already bowing down a little bit. That means your wind is going to be here, and the boat right behind you, they're not going to be affected. If you tack on ley line and they're right behind you, then they're going to be affected. That means they have to continue further out on the hip and do your tack out here. So getting those ley lines, they're important. And then there's different ways of doing that. But on a shorter race course like this, it could just be as simple as drawing on your deck what are the angles, and then you're just looking at the deck like, okay, we're at 70 degrees. Is there a top mark? 90 degrees, where are we at? I think that helps out quite a lot, just to have a sort of reference. Oh, it's very windy today. We're going higher. It's about here. That means you're not 4 lengths past. You can do 2 lengths past, or you can even. But what I like to do, I really like to tack in early, and then be on, and finding sort of my hole and where to be early on, if I'm not the first boat at the top mark.
We had at least one where we were not the front boat sailing up to the top mark. We tacked earlier,
Yeah.
and then we tacked so that we would hit ley line outside the 3-bone arc length.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we simply tacked on the inside of the competing boat,
Yeah.
because we could do it on par,
Yeah.
and because I think it might have been you, you were a bit
too much.
Yeah.
over the ley line. Then I mean we could easily get past.
It was pretty much all the racing, or where 1134 would have been behind you guys, but he ended up tacking below. There was quite a lot of situations where I'm just tacking below and making it.
Emma was doing it all the time.
Yeah. And so there you really see how much you're losing of not getting to your lay, or not picking your ley line. And those 4, 5, 6 lengths you sail too far down there, well, how much do you lose in attack? You guys lost a little bit too much in attacks here, but you don't lose that much. Right. In the tacks, in the normal maneuvers, if you really can practice of doing your tack where you're driving, and you're sort of just luffing, and you might luff with your stick like halfway between the straight and the cockpit. Så er det klaret. So halfway between the straight and the inside edge of the cockpit, and then when you get closer to the wind, you sort of finish your tack where you put it out to the cockpit edge, but not further out. Then you have that smooth rounding where you sort of finish. So you're sitting there, you're driving, pushing, and then that final, and then straight, you're not moving, you're at the right angle, and you can see where you're going, and then you walk across. Then you also have a consistency, the same type of tacks. As soon as you start standing up, then you end up with behind the boom, and maybe you jump across before. Then it's not consistent, and then the jib trimmer, everybody else are going to not trim in the correct way or follow you around because it's different, and we need things to be the same.
Yeah. So you want to stay until it's.
So I want to physically be sitting, still be sitting, completing my entire tack, looking where I'm going, boat steady, 3, 2, 1, then I walk across. Almost even in these conditions, it's like getting there, and then you're not ending up 8 degrees too low. You're coming out of your tack and you're 5 degrees low, and you're accelerating, jumping across, and then you're pulling the jib in, and then you're doing the last bit of your traveler. That's also one of the things. If I'm using the in-hauler out of attack, I'm pulling it to my tape mark. Then we go up and we hike. If I use the Velocitech or anything else, I can see the speed increasing. Like, okay, we're going to final, and then I pull the last of the in-hauler. But I don't change my jib trim, because that goes to the marking. And if the in-hauler is not pulled, then I'm already at an acceleration setup. It's already set for the 5 degrees low. And then I'm just using the in-hauler to do the final, and then we're racing. So that means that's 8 to 10 seconds after the tack.
If we are entirely doing it upon the lazy sheet but not using the in-hauler.
Yeah,
Would you prefer cross-sheeting?
yeah, I would, especially in conditions like this.
Exactly.
Because as soon as there's something, yeah.
So the first 2 sails, I was forward in the boat,
Yeah,
and I mean, you were spending at least 5-8 seconds on trimming.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've even on the J70s removed the new winches to put a new one in when we were sailing in San Francisco, to be able to sit there and go in every little wave and doing really nice. And I think you could do exactly the same with the sheet directly up to the winch up there, and sit there, and boat's heeling over, it's fully loaded. Open up a little bit. Oh, really good. We're stabilizing, but that means you need to have a lot of communication, especially from the trimmer. Like, okay, I'm 2 centimeters out. On 1 centimeter, I'm at 98%, because having a loose jib, that means the driver wants to drive lower. And then all of a sudden you have that bad circle. Yeah. So the same when you're easing the mainsail and you're like, and then the driver just feels, I want to go lower, and you end up completely off the wind, simply because you don't know it's been loose. So you have to have that communication that I'm loose, I'm tight, I'm where we're at. Right. I think that communication is pretty cool. I uploaded yesterday a video from Skorshoved, from Hellerup. I had a young team sailing. I think it's video 4 or something. I'll put that out as well. Their communication of what they're talking about throughout the race is just amazing. They're not doing really super awesome, but they're always like, does it feel okay? It's good. Okay. I'm doing this. Are you okay? Yeah. I'm a little stuck. Open up. Okay, this is good. They're like in the speed communication. And then they're also talking about other things on the race course. There's just so much going on, like, with the spinnaker, when they're going downwind, bring it 2 degrees down. And then you see he's not driving. 2 degrees down is everybody jumping to windward and just pushing the boat. So the whole crew knows what's going on because of that communication, and they assist. So because everybody knows, everybody's informed, this is what we're doing, this is what we're thinking, then everybody can assist in all those situations.
And on the downwind, it's the trimmer who
It's
is
the
steering
trimmer.
the boat. It's
Exactly.
not the helmsman.
It's the trimmer. But and in general, I want the driver to the stipend steering, like really steering like this, not the old dinghy way that I also grew up in and sailing like this, but simply putting the stick down and putting it on the deck, not driving. If you want to be 2 degrees lower, you're pulling just a little bit, and you're not moving it more than this.
The rest needs to be
And then the wrists have to be trimmed, and then the people have to move around to get that boat moving.
But in waves like this, you don't have like a loose.
Very little actually. I'm much more of a fixed. We're going, and then okay, we ended up being a little bit too low. Bring it back up again. We ended up. So I'm more of a. Say if you ride a horse, you're riding a horse and you're like, okay, we want to go right, we want to go left. If you start pulling, nothing's happening. It's just gonna go, fuck you, right? It doesn't want to go. And the boats are a little bit the same way. If you start like, okay, up and down, then you've got the resistance of the rudder, and you actually end up stopping the boat. So I would rather just have it straight, completely straight line. And then yes, the boat will move around. The horse will move around on the trail. We're still going this way. And it's free to move. You're not stopping any movements. And you've got that will of its own. That means the boat can go a little higher, can go a little bit lower. It's okay. We're within range. That's also why I really want the mainsail trimmer, if it's a driver or if it's somebody else, to mainly use the main sheet, because then you can open up your twist, but because you realize on weather like today, you're probably at 85% trim, always letting out 15%. And if you overpower it a little bit more, if you use the traveler to bring it down, you cannot stay at 80 because you're off. Everything goes more off. If you use the sheet, you still have area of the sail that's completely trimmed correctly.
You're not afraid of losing jib?
Yeah, that's why I still need some bang on the kicker on, but I'm more afraid of losing everything because I need that grip from the main. The correct way would be to have your backstay, your traveler, and the sheet, and then continuously working on that. But it's impossible. So my quick solution is to have on weather today some kicker on, some bang on, and use the sheet. Have the traveler further up than most of you guys had.
Yes. So
then
when you say use the sheet, it's still with the traveler up.
Still traveler up.
This far from the bulkhead.
Yeah.
So
Pretty close, depending on the strap and the whole setup, but quite far up to also have the same twist as I want the jib to have. And that's one of the things when you go out, go to the back of the boat and just look at your mainsail, look at your jib, and if your jib is going like this and your main is going like this, it doesn't work. And then okay, how do we do this? Let's try and open up the jib a little bit more, and then see if we can get the main to fit where it's supposed to. And that's the thing with the jib. What I really wanted to was to bring the bottom in closer and have the jib open up. Right now you're probably sailing at 40 degrees to the wind. If I bring the jib in closer, you're maybe at 38 degrees. But you can then have an open jib. If you are tighter to the wind, now let's say if you are 40 degrees, you're depowering. That means you're losing the headstay. So when the headstay starts falling out, the forestay, then the leech, the back end of the jib, closes in. And that means that narrow area between the main and the jib just gets smaller. And because you open up the main and the jib falls out, your angle also means I'm going to be driving a little bit lower. The boat starts falling over because of that. Then you ease out more main, then you lose more headstay. So that's the whole thing of getting that to work together. And that's also why if you have the jib all the way in and have that twist, then I can use the mainsail sheet and not the traveler, because everything is already opened up. And that's the whole thing of going behind. The same when you go downwind. Your engine, your motor on the downwind is your spinnaker. If you go behind on the boat and you look at the leech of your kite, and then you look at the mainsail, if you have the vang, the kicker, all the way pulled and completely close your mainsail and have it open, because, oh, I'm going downwind, but then I have the spinnaker that has this nice curvature, then the wind from the spinnaker just goes straight into your main and it's not propelling you forward. Your mainsail is your stabilizer. Your spinnaker is your speed. So I would rather have a little bit more loose kicker, vang, and more sheet. Bring it further in, so the leech of the main and the spinnaker are pretty much following each other. So there's that room for wind to go through. And your main's just going to be your stabilizer, unless you are dead downwind. If you're really going downwind, then I want everything out, but then I also want like wing on wing.
But I think today we went quite deep. So
You went, but only in the last, pretty much the last race. Everything before that you were going pretty high, and then you went out past ley line and then jibing, and then you're going pretty high back in again.
But going wing on wing in the J80 also?
Yeah, especially on the shorter race courses, because then we're still positioning. Well, on a day like today, I wouldn't go wing on wing.
no, because it starts to
You have the waves, and you're already at the speed. So no,
So
not in these
Flat
conditions.
water.
Flat water and consistent water, because wind, because it's when everything else changes, it's difficult, especially on the bigger spinners.
you have
Right.
to be really precise on the steering,
Yeah.
so it doesn't collapse.
Exactly. Right. The whole crew, everybody needs to know exactly what they're doing to get it really nice. Yeah. I'm just going to go do the starting. I really want to have the same starting way of doing it. So it doesn't matter if I'm sailing a TP52 or 440 or J70 or anything like that. If I have a starting line here, I think there's an advantage up here. Then 3 minutes before the start, and this is the way I do it, but I always do the same so I can recognize everything. I'm going to be here. 2 minutes before the start, I'm here, doing a jibe, and then I'm sailing in pretty much, depending on the class. Let's say J70 is from 60 to 80 meters from the mark. J80, probably we're going to be 60 to 90 meters from the mark, from the line, but I'm sailing parallel to the starting line, going back in, and then I know, okay, at 1 minute I'm going to tack or do what I call a 270, depending on what other boats are coming up here. And then it's going to be, I'm going to tack in front of 22 or whatever the other boat is, tacking, and I directly go into high build or high mode. So I know if I go full on speed and I sail, I'm going to be early. I have 1 minute to the start. Let's say that I am 60 meters from the line. That's going to take me 30 seconds and 4 knots of speed to get there. So knowing, okay, how far should I be from the line at a certain time helps me quite a lot. And if I can use your Velocitech or Sailmon or whatever you guys have and do exactly the same. So you know, okay, I'm going to be 70 meters from the line. It's always going to look the same. Then I can go on my high build. My job here is to make sure that I'm to the right. Worst that could happen if I'm red boat is to have another boat there in the start. So I'm high out here. Yes, we have another boat coming in. I try to keep it really simple for the crew. So there's going to be a call, defend. Defend is let go of the sails, bow down, point at this guy. Make sure that they tack early. I'm still going to be slow because everything is out. I will be faster than I was before. So I am pointing at them. That means this boat will tack early. Now I have excess speed. Bring it back up again and actually go directly, pointing directly to the wind. I need to burn that excess speed that I had. Meaning I'm narrowing down here. And this guy, he just tacked, so he's not going to be able to go this high. So I'm creating more space again here. And hopefully I can bring it back up and close to the other guy there and keep my spot here. If a boat comes in from behind, it's also going to be defend. Okay, he's coming in. He has an option. He can either go in and go there. What I really want him to go is there.
Okay, so you make
So if I open up, so he is like, okay, my direction is to go here, but then if I get the overlap, then he needs room, and then I'm going to end up all the way down here. That's not a good spot for me to be in. So I need to give him that option of, oh, okay, it's not going to work. I'm putting it up there. And then you have excess speed again, bring it back up again, and you're working your way to here.
But if you don't have the space down,
Yeah, but if I don't have the space down from the other boats, let's say there's more boats there and he's coming in, he's not going to fit there anyway.
No. Okay.
So he's like, okay, what to do? He's probably not going to be bowing down there, or if he's doing that, he's going to continue further down the line.
So if there is a boat, you have your space, and then you just the space before it comes.
The thing is,
And then
if you have a lot of boats and a lot of really good sailors, this is going to be your start. This is how you start, and then it's going to be 3, 2, 1, go. It's difficult. but you cannot be the boat that, oh, I'm a little bit early, bowing down, and then sailing down the line. It doesn't work. And so we have to very early figure out, are we early, are we late? It's okay to be 3 seconds late if you're at speed. So we're talking about, do I have my speed? Do I have my lane? And do I have the position I want to be on the line? And the most important thing for me is the lane. Next is the speed, and then pretty much position. Of course, if the line is like crazy. But having that you 40 seconds after the start can still be, okay, I'm in free air, I'm clean. That's important. And by, let's say, oh, I'm a little bit early, then you decide, okay, we need to burn speed. It's not going down.
No.
You have to just say, okay, I'm staying up and waiting on a boat like the one you're in today. It's probably going to be 8 seconds, 6 seconds from here to being at full speed. So when you look at your watch and you're like, oh, 14 seconds, cannot be going downwind, right? Or reaching down. So you have to stay up here until, 6 seconds. Okay, now we're going. Bowing down and sailing. You're very quickly at speed. And if you're not at speed, then you have maybe a boat length you can give away to get speed. I would rather be up here a little bit slower, but then have the wiggle room to work than being at the same speed here. And what happens often is you're coming down and then you're still early, so you end up trying to slow down even more. So you're going to be in slow speed now and close to the other boat and being completely screwed because of that. So we don't really want that either. I have a PDF on that as well. I don't have access to upload it to the Sejlcenter Niva, so I'm just going to put it on Facebook on the thing called povandet.dk. Povandet. That's me. I'm just going to put it there. And then you guys can check it out with some of the other stuff. The video is also going to be on YouTube on Povandet. Then you can just remember when you're going in there, use your YouTube app and not Facebook app, because then you can move the camera around. So everything I record out there, it's 360, right? And then you can sort of pinpoint where you want to be. Yeah. Chromecast is really nice when you on the big television at home. You can sit there and turn the camera as it plays. You get on a bigger screen.
So you made some videos on the water today? Or?
Probably an hour and a half, something like that. It's going to be uploaded later today. And then I try to communicate. I have a microphone on me, so I try to communicate my thoughts as we're watching it, or as it happens, what I'm seeing. Yeah. And sometimes I say, fuck. Sometimes I say something else. But that's the way it is. Yeah. That's the game. It's sports. But no. And then if you have any questions, my phone number is also on povandet.dk. It's my number. Just text me. Sort of, what was going on here? What do you think about this? Send me pictures. I always have, and that's one of the other things, I always have the tape markings on the spreader bars. But I also always, on all the boats that I do, I put my head down on that final block to the winch. And that's the same spot that I always look on. So I know what it's supposed to look like. So I'm not like, oh yeah, it looks okay. But no, I actually physically go down and like, okay, yeah, same point. Repeatable process. Right.
But we were actually sailing quite far out on the spreader today.
You were very far out, and I really enjoyed it. But where you guys were very flat, but because you were so close to the jib card that you couldn't really move the.
You should have moved the jib cards 2 holes afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would have because then we would have opened up in the top as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can make the bottom more curved if you pull it.
Exactly, because if you just move it back, then you have a flat jib.
Yeah.
Then you need to bring it in and get that curvature going. But we need to be very precise on the trim.
Yeah, so we were not going maximum height on
No.
our jib setting today.
No.
More speed through the waves.
Yeah.
Is compromised.
Yeah,
Why is the track a meter long?
because you also have a Genoa
Yeah, okay.
designed with the Genoa as well.
Yeah. That's why we have this.
Yeah.
We always in
Yeah.
using the same.
Yeah, yeah. In some places you get to sail with the Genoa. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Works really nice. But
I think we've seen one with the spinnaker set up with spinnaker pole and all.
yeah, yep.
And I suppose that there is an additional set of cleats for Barbara horse.
Yeah, for the tweakers, yeah.
We have it on our boat.
Yeah.
How's
So we don't use
we don't use them.
PAA. VANDET. It's on Facebook, that same where it, videos and stuff. This is uploaded directly live
Okay.
on the Facebook side.
Okay. Which is also for Bennett.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Metoa. Yeah,
Nice pronunciation.
yeah.
It's not even Swedish.
No, but I thought it was really fun, and hopefully I can get a smaller rib. That rib was very big to get close to you guys and also to jump on. But there's a Zodiac.
Yeah.
This red Zodiac.
Yeah, I
Or
think.
we have to switch ribs.
Yeah.
Zodiac. They are same sizes.
Yeah.
So
Well, I that's the same reason. I have three of the pretty much the same size ribs myself because I don't want a 115 horsepower motor and that somebody else will just wreck and you. There's a difference from doing a little bump into killing somebody. Right. So, and the smaller ones, it's so easy to get really up close and actually just put myself next to you and sometimes I will reach in and do stuff on your boat. Can't do that on the bigger one.
No, on the big one, it also has this glass fiber.
Yeah, it's just too much.
Not suited for that.
But it worked really well, and it's really nice in these conditions to stand there. But it's
This morning,
surprising.
I was looking into weather forecast saying 4 meters per second, gusting up to 8-9 meters per second.
Yeah,
And this was super consistent at what, 7?
yeah.
7.
I mean, it was not
Maybe
gusting.
8.
out
No,
of-
No.
very stable winds.
It was really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully I can get out with you guys some more and check out the videos and check out
The setting of the rig.
yeah.
Maybe
But
we
then
can tighten it a little.
on conditions like this at least.
Yeah, it was a little too.
But if you look at the videos and you see something, just write a comment in there as well, and then I'll address it.
Yes.
And sort of, what was that? Why is this?
I think the plan is in 2 weeks.
Yeah, the plan was to try and do
21st.
every 2 weeks here.
Yeah. So 21st last time before Christmas, and then we have
Yeah,
maybe a couple of times in January.
yeah. I have the date somewhere.
Yeah, Christmas in it out. So.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you guys.
And then hopefully we'll see a little more boats next
A
time.
little more boats, a little more sun.
Fishing a little big, and we were
Yeah.
using cast and sledging. We should be able to collect at least 6 or 7 boats